welcome to the second in our series of TalkLIS interviews. My name is Julian Tyndall-Biscoe, and over the course of the series, I'll be talking to individuals involved in LIS projects throughout the UK, finding out about the challenges they face and what the future holds for LIS. Today we're in Cambridgeshire, and I'm joined by Gurjeet Rajania, Senior Research Officer, Consultation and Research, Financial Strategy, and Hendrik, Grothuis, who is the Research Manager, Local Information, in the same department at Cambridgeshire County Council. Hello to you both. I wondered, Hendrik, if you could start first, by just telling us a little bit about the project that you've been working on. I understand that it started out with the place survey, but has moved on quite quickly.
Yes, I mean, we've been interested in the whole geospatial visualization of our data for a long time. I mean, in research in Cambridgeshire, we're primarily concerned with socio-demographic and economic information for the local population. So initially, because there was such demand for the place survey and it was such an interesting set of data, particularly around monitoring any satisfaction with services, we decided that the best way to represent it would be visually, so to basically give it access to a much wider range of users. So as part of that, in conjunction with Gurjeet, we put together a couple of basic models, which we circulated around individuals to see what they thought, gathered thoughts, and then produced the place survey. With that, it went down so well that we decided to produce a number of other atlases using open and nationally available data sets, such as output area classification or the Living Cost and Food Survey, which again showed very specific things about the population, but also were of great interest about service users and our services in Cambridgeshire.
And it sounds as though there was a lot of data involved, crunching the data and bringing it into one place, and I think that, Gurjeet, you were involved in that side of things. I wondered if you could just tell us about the scale of that project and how you managed to overcome any challenges that you may have faced.
Sure. Well, with the place survey, it was obviously a national survey, and every local authority had to conduct it. It took a while just actually getting a lot of the results back from CLG after a number of rounds of weighting the data and making sure it was all correct. So I didn't really get a chance to play with the data until maybe about a year after. Then that's when we decided on developing the atlas. The place survey actually collects 18 of the old national indicators, and we thought that was a great starting point to put into the atlas. These were key data sets that a lot of people across the council and other public sector services wanted to know and wanted to use. So I started there, and because we were displaying the data at a ward level, we had to apply our own weightings for Cambridgeshire from the raw data, and I was lucky enough to be able to work with Hendrik to get it plugged into the Instant Atlas and displayed at a small geographic level.
Hendrik, you mentioned users and how many people are accessing because it's been very popular. I wondered whether you'd seen different users coming in, people you probably hadn't expected to make use of the atlases. Have you had a broader reach than you perhaps thought you might have?
Very much so, because I mean, at the moment, with a lot of things happening in the national agenda, particularly around open information, efficiency savings, especially in local government, and new challenges, I mean, be that new geographies or partnerships coming together, such as PCTs, people are starting to realise that the information is relevant to them, whether they knew that previously or not. I mean, a very good example is the output area classification, where even though it is from Census 2001, it is still relevant, that people at a small area level can drill down. And we do have visualization on our website to show this at output area level, what social classification is available within that. Now that's just one data set, but what that has done greatly is that because it's so easy to use, people have used that as a starting point, then got back to us and are actually looking for sort of richer, more deeper information that they can actually use in their services. I mean, currently there's an awful lot of service transformation going on, both locally and nationally, and as part of that, people do need to basically make savings based on customer insight or based on sort of streamlining their own services. The demographic information that we have available actually has helped greatly in that, if for nothing else, is to gather initial baseline. And I mean, Gurjeet mentioned the place survey previously. So, for instance, how happy are people with their local services? And that's a great indicator for what services are being provided to those people at a local level. And also, if we are doing something well, then we can try and replicate that somewhere else. Or alternatively, if there's an issue where there's low satisfaction level, actually try and investigate that more with the data that we have.
Yes. I wondered also whether it had perhaps changed the way you were working, given that you have this broader reach and people are coming back to you to ask for different bits of information or insight. Has that changed your unit and it's the way that you're approaching the different projects?
I would say very much. I mean, both operationally and strategically. I mean, we're not doing so much low-level number crunching anymore. What is happening is that people are becoming more aware of the data. So, I mean, seeing this initial data set, they are coming back to us, and then ourselves, we'll be able to spend more time using the old adage, using the old adage, process once, use many times, that we can really cut down on some of the low-level operational, and then increase our own efficiencies, because it leaves us more time to do the higher-end analysis and actually feed that into what people need.
Yes. And it sounds as though things have moved very quickly, because we were talking earlier about the launch of new atlases, and I wonder whether, Gurjeet, you could just explain what's coming up, what the future holds in terms of LIS in Cambridgeshire.
Well, we've moved very quickly from starting off with the place there, and I think that's because so many people have been engaged with the atlas and really found it very useful. So following on from the place survey atlas, we've done an atlas completely dedicated to oak, and then another one using the living costs and food survey run by the Office for National Statistics. We're now moving on to a ward profile atlas. Primarily, this started off as an idea from some of our community engagement teams about giving key sets of data to our councillors and other people interested in their local wards on a range of socio-economic and demographic indicators. This is still currently under development, but we're hoping to launch in a couple of weeks, I think. It's a really powerful tool, because it gives us the opportunity to display all the data in one location, and it gives the opportunity to all councillors and other people involved and wanted to know about their local ward, a one-stop shop there to clearly compare data and get involved. And
presumably what this means is that because they are not themselves GIS specialists, they're able to see data in such a way that is meaningful. I suppose that's quite powerful, isn't it?
Definitely, because like you say, you don't need to be a GIS specialist to be able to interact with the data. It's so user friendly, and with the ward atlases, we're hoping to have a kind of circulatory kind of link, so you can really investigate a particular ward, compare it, and also use some of the reporting functions that I think Instant Atlas offer in the HTML reports. So it's really exciting what we can use Instant Atlas for, and to benefit our customers.
And Hendrik, you were mentioning about the strategic importance of this insight, and I wondered whether, as you mentioned, things are changing. PCTs and local authorities are having to work closer together. They'll soon be abolished, but people who will have responsibility for spending money will need to understand their areas better. And presumably this is the way forward, I would have thought, in terms of being able to explain what's going on in a local area.
Very much so, and actually it links in very timely with some other work that we're doing. If we sort of move away from the individual atlases for a moment, is that we're also developing in parallel a Cambridgeshire JSNA website, which is to be launched in the next coming weeks. As part of that, that's going to include all the current JSNAs, but also all the other assessments, such as local economic assessment, strategic housing market assessment, and some of the work we do locally here demographically, which we do district profiles. So essentially at the moment it will be a one-stop shop that is open and scalable, a bit like the Atlas itself, because what we're hoping is to, in the future, integrate the Atlases with this JSNA website to ultimately develop a local information portal. With that as well, there's such a rich level of information available in Joint Strategic Needs Assessment and some of the other local assessments that we have a couple of challenges in front of us. One is potentially the local enterprise partnerships, where we'll be dealing with a whole new level of geographies. Another one is potentially with shared services as well. And then lastly, with, as you mentioned, the health coming into local authorities potentially, is that a whole new series of information at a much higher analytical level than we've been producing in the past. So be able to combine very nicely the local government information and then also the rich source of the NHS information as well.
It sounds very powerful. I mean, but do you think there's a danger that perhaps there will be too much for people to look at, to wade through and to take on board, or will you be able to present in such a way that they will be able to refine what they want to get to what they want very quickly?
Well, I think this is a real challenge. I mean, to be able to customize the product for your customer and know who your customer is. And as local authority employees, our customer is everyone that's in Cambridgeshire. And that includes our colleagues, partners, and the general population. So with that, I mean, we have to be very careful on how we produce information and who we target it at. If it's a high-level analytical report, then it's in the public domain, then so be it. But also, I personally feel that we have to produce things at a level that is understandable to everyone. And actually, Gurjeet mentioned the new ward atlases that are coming out. And as part of that, we've been very clear to try and include some of the features of the Instant Atlas in there, which includes the interactive metadata box, so that when people have the data in front of them and they change it, that we use plain English language that explains the concepts very easily to them, both in how we theme the data, but also in actually describing the data as well, so that there's no data-led, acronyms, or there's no concepts that are not fully explained that are on screen for the individual.
Yes. Well, it sounds as though there's a lot happening in Cambridgeshire and that you're making great use of LIS. I suppose one last question, I don't know whether you both want to let me have your thoughts on this, but just in terms of the funding that's available, there are suggestions, obviously, that with the cuts heading our way, that information data could be lost, and I just wondered whether you felt that that danger was on the horizon for you.
Well, yeah, there is definitely a kind of a worry out there that budgets are being scaled down, and we might not be able to provide all the richness of data that we have done in the past. But we've basically here at Cambridgeshire, we're just going to have to try and think smarter and make better use of the data available and the resources that we have to us. This is the way we've been using Instant Atlas. It's a great tool to allow us when we do have ad hoc requests come in, we can send them the Atlas and they can peruse the data themselves and try and analyze it themselves instead of making more effective use of our time. I know that's one area that I'm trying to go about it. I'm not sure about you, Hendrik.
And yeah, if I may interject there as well, I mean, this is the challenge that's facing everyone up and down the country, and we really need to do more with less. I mean, an awful lot of people are saying this at the moment, but what does it really mean? Well, I mean, using something like the Instant Atlas or following some of the more movements that are coming from central government around releasing more data and open data with a whole series of armchair auditors that potentially can be anyone, is we really sort of have to follow the rules of quality and freeing up some of our time actually for greater analytical capability to provide better services.
Yes.
Now that's a hard one to achieve in practice, but that is the aim. And as part of that, then be as open as transparent as possible. People will have access to the data, and that's a good thing. And as part of that, then hopefully assist people to do that. And with that, then we're increasing both our service provision, but also increasing the use of the data as well.
Well, that all sounds very positive. It sounds as though you're embracing the challenge and almost as an opportunity for you. All the best. I just wanted to thank you both for your time. It's been very good talking to you and hearing what's going on in Cambridgeshire.